Good morning from America. In America, it is Sunday morning, so we're enjoying this wonderful conversation. The sun is out. It's a beautiful day. And we want to talk about how to trace your bad attitude back to where it started or where you learned it. All right. And the reason we want to do that is because it's one of the steps that Earl Nightingale talks about in his Be Positive video. And when he says to try this for 30 days, that's exactly what we're doing. So we want to invite you along to do that with us. But we also want to give you some tools and techniques because this is what we do for a living. We trace back and find the bad attitudes that are going on in people's life that they no longer want and find out where did it start? What was going on then? How come it held such a strong place in your brain that your brain wants to keep repeating it? So what would be the first step, Rita, to find out, like, how come when someone feels negative, when someone feels hurt, when someone feels sad, when they have a bad attitude about maybe being positive, or they have a bad attitude about the world in general, how do they find, like, what's the first step to tracing it back?
Wow. Yeah. So there's a lot of ways to do it, because this is the great part about our brain training is that our brains, everybody's brain works differently. You know, you're either seeing it, you're feeling it, you're hearing it, either someone's cooking something and that bad attitude shows up because there's something in the background, right? As you say, Tammy, she always goes, there's something in the background. So there's an internal representation to that attitude, to that bad, to the hurt attitude. So when, I like to go back there. When you were born, you learned something. You learned from your community, you learned from your parents, you learned how to act and how to react, and your brain started linking information with this people. If you want a goal, if you want to be happy and you want to create fun stuff in your life, and then shit happens, that's a link. That's a program. So what we do is we go and we find that shitty attitude, that attitude that no longer serves you. So one of the ways is we have you go inside. This is your mind, right? You have to step into your mind and see how you are doing it. So you notice that feeling, that sensation, you notice what it feels like. 0 doesn't bother me, 10, it's really strong. Okay, it's a 10. Where have I felt that before? Because this is not the first time this attitude has come up. It's not the first time, and it won't be the last one, and it's going to show up in an uglier pair of shoes. So you want to rewrite that, you want to release it, you want to rewire it. And so we go and we find the memory that supports that. Is that step one?
Yes. And the interesting thing for me was, I think, like, having done so many things to develop in personal development, was when I actually found out, wait a second, it's my memories. Like, that, just the light bulbs went off like crazy, because I thought, oh, I can, if I have the skill and the tools to help update them, then that's all I need to do. I don't have to, I don't have to work so hard. I just have to go update that and let the changes, the inner compulsion happen because of that. Yeah.
Yes. And I think that this is especially our type of training that we do, Faster EFT, Utaptics, is with that type of training, life becomes effortless. Like, there is no resistance because we're clearing it and we're clearing it. That fear, we're flipping it, we're switching it, that worry, that concern, it's your brain no longer has to give it to you as a trigger to react. Yep. Now you're consciously able to respond. So that is so huge. I love that part.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I wanted to point out, like, worry and fear are two of those bad attitudes he's talking about. So when you think, well, I don't have a bad attitude, we're not talking about bad as in, like, you're going to be hurting somebody, but worry is hurting yourself, right? We're talking about any attitude that keeps you from being able to be positive. And worry and fear and anxiety are some of the ones that are going to affect you the most. Like, they're very, very bad for you. So when you go back and you find out, oh, here's where I learned how to worry. This experience probably with your mom or your dad, probably with a caretaker, right? Taught me that if I worry, it means something. And that's what we want to find out. What does it mean? And then we can do this technique. And so we have the stop technique below for you because that's the simplest way for you to start seeing how this works. And obviously there's a lot of deep work that you can do for yourself and we can do with you. But number one is trace it back and find out where it started and what was linked to that emotion. For me, worry meant care. If I didn't worry about you, then I wasn't thinking ahead about what could happen. And then I wouldn't have warned you. And then I didn't care about you. And then it was my fault if it happened. So like I went down this rabbit hole of really quickly, that's going to be my fault if they get hurt. Boom, then you start worrying, you start planning, you start thinking, you start overthinking, and you start what do my clients call it all the time? Hypervigilance.
And
right?
hyperventilating too.
Hypervigilance and hyperventilating. And neither of those are serving you in changing your life and becoming more positive. So great. Anything else we have to add?
Oh, we can go hours and hours. So we're going to keep it simple and download the technique and we'll give you a video so you can know how to use it.
Perfect. All right. Well, like, subscribe, and share this video. We love to bring you the value from what we've learned and what we've experienced and how it's totally changed. You know, what's really changed for me is just that when something comes up, I know what to do or I know who to go to. Those are the two best things, right? Like I know I'm going to go in here and I'm going to find out where that bad attitude started and then I'm going to deal with it in that moment. Or I'm going to come to Rita, or I'm going to come to our group, right? Like we have those things in place because life is going to always happen. But how do we change ourselves around it so we can respond and react differently? All right. Okay. Love you guys. Happy Sunday, and click the notification button.